You're tuned in to the My 95.1 Sports Zone, the podcast for students by students. We're bringing you the latest highlights, hot takes, and the behind-the-scenes stories from all the things sports right here at the Killeen ISD Career Center. From Friday Night Lights to buzzer beaters and everything in between. If it's KISD sports, we're talking about it. Let's dive in. All right, gentlemen, introduce yourselves for our audience.
I'm David Burke Jr.
I'm Brandon Smith.
And these are two of our sports broadcasters that we have here today to talk all things KISD sports. All right, let's dive right in. Brandon, what you got?
Well, I just wanted to talk about the Chaparral game. It was a really good game. I saw that.
Well, set us up, sir. Who do they play? Where were they playing?
They played Kyle Lehman at Chaparral Zero Stadium, and I thought it was gonna be a really good game, but unfortunately, at the end of the half, Chaparral scored like 20 straight points, and it just got out of hand from there. You know, Bryson Coleman had 4 touchdowns. Jalen Moultrie had a touchdown, which I think Samir Woods had a touchdown or something like that. Yeah, but who really was really good in that game? The defense was really good. They made plays when they needed to. It was just really their way to just stay as a team. Because when I went there, the crowd was amazing, the band was amazing, the cheering was amazing. Just everything about that atmosphere was really good for the team.
Let's talk about their offense. What kind of style of offense do they have on the field? Are they more of a run team, a passing team, or kind of a nice balance in between?
I see a nice balance, specifically because one of their players named Davian Arthur, he's literally he's like that. What do you call that? Like the H-back / receiver. He's something like that, and he gets the ball a lot. He's a very fast guy. So I think it's more balanced, and it kind of goes hand in hand because the quarterback had 2 passing and 2 rushing touchdowns. So I think it's more of a balance based off what I've seen, but it could be different maybe in the future depending on what team they play.
All right, well, we've heard enough about that for a moment. David, what you got?
Yeah, I kind of sort of disagree to it. It definitely is a little bit balanced, but they ran a lot of spread last year from what I've watched in the film I've watched. So I like that they have a nice balanced team. Strength of schedule-wise, that was a really good win for them to start the year 1-0 for the head coach for Chaparral's, second year leading the program. So I definitely think there's definitely some more challenges ahead. They play Maynard New Tech coming up soon, I'm pretty sure. So a couple of good non-district games to get them ready for district.
Yeah, you spoke about that, non-district. All this is about rankings, it's about pride, it's about maintaining that football excellence going into the district play, because once the district games come around, that's when you have your playoff implications. So let's talk about some of that Chap defense. You said that they were pretty balanced on offense. Did their defense show up? What kind of plays did you see regarding them on the field?
They definitely had a pretty good defense, but in my opinion, Kyle Lemon wasn't the top-tier opponent, so it wasn't really, I don't think, a challenge for them, but I definitely think they can step up and definitely defend at a high level, and I definitely think the head coach would get them right.
Do they have any specific playmakers you want to give a shout-out to?
Kimani Sherman.
Yes, Kimani Sherman is definitely, he has the ability, in my opinion, to really do something if he just keeps, working hard. And they like he said, they have a really good defense, but like he said, Kyle Lehman probably isn't the best offense that they could have won against, but then again, it is a varsity football school. Give credit where it's due.
One game does not make a football team. This is the first time they're coming back for the season, and I know there's usually a lot of rust you got to get off, but what y'all saying is it was a good showing, got a lot more games ahead, and look forward to Chaparral.
Definitely think they're going to get better throughout the season.
They're going to get better because they have the players to do it, and they have the coaches. The coaches really big, and I go there and I know the coaches. I've been hearing the coaches. They really believe they have something this year, and they really do have something if they can keep playing as a team.
And they have a pretty bright future. They have a decent class of 2029 class coming in.
They really do.
So the futures, I think Chaparral is going to just keep better and better as the years go, and has to how the season go this year.
Specifically, Rajon Williams. He's a really good receiver and safety, so I think he's going to be good. He's a freshman class of 2029. I think he's going to be really good. He might make varsity next year as a sophomore, so if he keeps working hard.
That would be impressive. All right, David, let's move on to some of the other matchups that we saw last week and see what we have to look forward to this week.
Harker Heights. Harker Heights got down early, 14-3. They let up 2 touchdowns early against Cedar Park, but then right after that, a kick return by Antonio really sparked them, and they never looked back. They ended up winning 56-20 something, I believe. I got to go back and check that, but that's a really, really well-coached team, in my opinion. Coach Humble over there does a really good job, and the quarterback over there is a great leader. I think this is a really dangerous team. Now, upcoming game that I think Killeen should be all eyes on is against Dripping Springs. Dripping Springs knocked off Vandergrift, the 6A state champion in week 1. I think that will be a big test for Harker Heights, seeing on what they can do in a tough district and looking ahead of the playoffs. So I think Coach Humble really scheduled them a good non-district to really test adversity and see what they can do.
Last year, Harker Heights had a pretty amazing running attack on the ground. Do they still have running backs there that are able to put points on the board?
Yes, Jalen Ross, they have multiple guys, but the real guy we really got to talk about, I feel like, the start offense is Ryan Taylor. I definitely think they'll be able to spread the ball out a little bit more this year, but Coach Humble's always going to have a good balanced attack. Jalen Ross is definitely a guy who's had to sit out for a little while, had a couple guys ahead of him, now it's his turn, and I think they will have a pretty decent running game this year.
Do you think Harker Heights is the best team in the district, from what you can gather? Last year, they pretty much they were neck and neck with Shoemaker for a while, but I think Harker Heights did emerge as the best team in the area. What are your thoughts on that?
I still think, to be honest, it's too early to decide. Definitely, they're a very senior-heavy team last year, so they definitely have a lot of pieces that came back in return, especially Hudson Humble, veteran quarterback now, who did really well last year. I haven't really made a decision on that, but definitely it's my top 3 is Shoemaker, Harker Heights, and Temple for that district.
All right, Brandon, what do you want to add to the flavor here?
I agree with everything he said, except for the part where he says the top 3. I think I would agree with Harker Heights and Shoemaker as the top 2, but I really think, and I know it's week 1 and I know people are going to be mad, but I think Chaparral is above Temple. I really think they can. I really believe in Chaparral this year.
I completely disagree, but I just think they're too young, in my opinion. Temple has multiple Power 4 and Power 5 guys. They're a well-coached, disciplined team, and they're experienced. I think those are the top 3 teams in the area right now, to be completely honest with you.
We'll keep that rivalry there going between the rest of the year. Let's move on to some other schools. David, what you got?
Shoemaker. I was in attendance for this game, down on the field getting some good shots for my AV production class. I think Shoemaker, they impressed me, to be honest. They put up 56 points against a pretty well-coached and disciplined team in Round Rock. They were relatively young. Damani Dale Addison had his first start, junior quarterback, and I think he looks good, very efficient. He was 7 for 9. They didn't have to really pass the ball much because they had 272 rushing yards. Brown Rock just couldn't stop the run. Brandon Brown Jr., 3-star, had 3 touchdowns. Senior Willie Thomas had 89 yards on 13 attempts and a touchdown. And sophomore Josiah Walker, 97 yards and a touchdown. Now, I'll get a transition to another thing. This class, the 2028 class that is our sophomores now, is going to be something to watch in the next couple of years. I definitely think across Killeen, it's a very special class, and many guys stepped up through all district, like Josiah Walker, 97 yards, a touchdown. Tyler Armstrong, as a sophomore DN, had a pick 6. So definitely look out for guys to step up big in these big-time non-district and district matchups.
Now, you mentioned Brandon Brown Jr. I was at that game too, and wow, that's all I can say. Shoemaker really can run the football, and they do have a very good balanced attack on offense. They run a similar schema every time, but they change it up a little bit. You'll have the receivers on one side or not with 2 in the backfield, but it's very confusing to a team when you think you know what they're seeing, but they disguise it really, really well. That, to me, is the success of Shoemaker, being able to disguise their offensive game plan right there in front of the other squads and just being able to deliver. Brandon, were you at the game as well?
I surely was.
And what were your thoughts there of crowd noise, the bands, everything for a first opening game on a Thursday night at Cyril Stadium for the Shoemaker Grey Wolves? Did it deliver?
It absolutely did. I love the atmosphere that they set. It was very amazing. Every time they even just got a couple of yards, the crowd would cheer. You hear the band going. You would see the people running with the flags. That just shows that their fan base in that school is just very passionate about football. They really love it there. And like he said about Brandon Brown, like you said about Brandon Brown, and he had a nice kickoff return too. It looked good.
Yeah,
Jamal Polite too. He had a nice toe tap touchdown at the back of the end zone.
Yeah, I saw that one too.
He looked really good. They have a bunch of guys. That's what's scary about them. And Coach Foreman,
He's very creative. I'll tell you that.
Yes,
he's
very creative. And that coaching staff, they know what they're doing. I tell you what, you better watch out for them.
We also mentioned the fact that there were not a lot of flags thrown in that game. This early in the season to have that team disciplined like that, to not have those flags being thrown, they really pay attention to their coaching staff, and they were playing fundamental football. I'm really looking forward to seeing Shoemaker play Harker Heights later in the year. That is going to be the game for me.
That's Shoemaker's last game, I believe. They get the Week 10 bye. Harker Heights has to play, in my opinion, the top 2 teams of the district, last 2. They had to play Temple and Shoemaker back-to-back weeks, so I'd be interested to see that, even though that's later in the season. The only thing I'm looking for Shoemaker is, their defense kind of struggled towards the end of the district last year. They definitely started the game hot. They had an interception and they forced a fumble quickly. That's how Shoemaker jumped on them. So definitely think they have a lot of weapons on offense, and this can be a very dangerous team in district.
And to be honest, and people talk about that offense, but that defense is for that D line. They have Trey Stevens, they have Stephon White, like that,
Caden Logan, Jamon Sanders,
and their D backs with James Evans. You have Brendan Logan. You have William Thomas, like
sophomore Dino too.
Man, yes, they're deep. Like they are really deep, and I think. All I got to say is just look out for Shoemaker. They can really do something if they play together as a team.
I think they travel well, too. I got the pleasure last year of broadcasting a game at UMHB when they played Ellison, and that Shoemaker delivered. And they have a really fantastic fan base, a crowd, the cheerleaders, the band. They show up to play, and like I said, they travel very well. Any more thoughts on Shoemaker before we move on?
No, I think we should head into Killeen.
Let's go for it.
Yeah.
They dropped one 30-14 against Fiesta Ridge. Coach Sadler over there, I think he's a really good coach, can really draw it up on the offense. They had a really good offense last year. They also lost a lot of weapons with that senior class last year, so they definitely struggled, but don't count Killeen out. If you know anything about the crosstown rivalry, last year is a barn burner, and I'm really looking forward to that game this week.
I think you couldn't have said it better. I'm a Ellison grad myself, and every year when we would play Killeen there at Leo Buckley, no matter who was doing well that season, no matter who was going to potentially win the district, it is a crosstown rivalry at its finest. You never know who's going to win. I don't want to quite call it a coin flip, but that's the way it feels. You mentioned the offense of Killeen last year being really, really good. They were one of the most dynamic teams to watch and call for games. They had a quarterback that just really made really good decisions in the pocket. They just ended up on the losing end of the spectrum for all the games, but a great team to watch, and this is the game. It's a little early this year, but you know what? Let's get this thing going, and I'm real excited to see what they're going to do on Friday, because we will be calling that game from the booth on Friday.
And I would like to flip it to the other side. Ellison, their offense, man, looked really good, although they did.
They dropped one in a barn burner against Cove.
50-46, yep.
Yeah, last minutes of the game, they were unable to convert, and they ended up losing that one.
But that receiver, man, Juan, he's the truth. 210 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. Man, he's for real.
When he lines up in the post, he is unstoppable. He will get the ball, he will find a way to catch it, and he is an electrifying player to watch. I really look forward to seeing his season this year, because he just kind of started up doing the same things he did last year. Juan Ramirez is a fantastic receiver for the Ellison Eagles.
Marlon Smith. I got to talk about these sophomores real quick. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't care what you guys have to say. This class of 28 is something to be reckoned with across all KISD. Sophomore Marlon Smith was 11-25, a little shaky. Cove definitely sent pressure on him late and kind of struggled with it, but that was his first varsity start, so you kind of expected it. But I feel like he definitely opened some eyes. He had 360 yards and 4 touchdowns and no interceptions, so he didn't turn the ball over as a sophomore quarterback. That's all you can ask for, and he really spread the ball around. I think he has pretty good receiving core and good weapons around him, so look out for Ellison against this Cove team. Just looking for the defense just to prove a little bit.
Say that again. Look out for Ellison against this Killeen team.
Yes, look out against Ellison against this Killeen team, man. Definitely think it's going to be high scoring. Definitely think it's just going to matter who can get stops early and who can create the most turnovers.
I really believe this game comes down to which quarterback has the ball last, because, like you said, I agree with you. It's going to be a high-scoring game, and usually in those situations, now usually in those situations, it comes down to which quarterback has the ball last. Now, in your defense, it could be true. It could be the team that gets them early turnovers or that one crucial turnover that they need. But I think it's going to come down to who has the ball last.
I definitely think if we're going to go look at quarterbacks who has the most experience, D'Lo, Killeen's quarterback, was in the game just last year, and it was 55-50 with the ball left, and they were about to score again, and Ellison got a big stop. So I agree with you to a certain extent, but whoever gets more stops in this game is going to win the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, David, I think I would agree with you a little bit more. I think defense is going to be the tell here. It's not going to be so much of an offensive shootout. I think we're going to see some different things on offense from both squads, and I think it's going to be more of around like 35-30 kind of score. I think we're going to see more defensive stops. Last year was a shootout. It just kept going back and forth, but
thought it was never going to end.
I thought it was never going to end. But that seems to be Ellison's MO. I mean, they can put on 50-plus points on the board, but sometimes they end up on the losing end like they did last week against Cove. Again, it's going to be interesting. Killeen is the home team in that one, so you expect a lot of maroon. The band's going to show up with the cheerleaders, a lot of drums, but the Ellison side will be full as well because it's crosstown rivalry, and that's what this game is about.
Now, one thing I do want to speak about there's no way, if this is a crosstown rivalry we have for years, that both sides shouldn't be sold out, in my opinion. There's no way it shouldn't be, and it should be loud and rocking. I feel like that's one thing we miss here in Killeen. Like Shoemaker versus Harker Heights should be the most packed game and energetic game, just so is any crosstown rivalry we have here. Definitely think we can be a little bit more school-spirited across all KISD when it comes to football and being loud.
Final 3 things that, David, you want to see this coming week for football. What are the 3 top things you want to see from any school, any player of your choice?
I'll start off quickly with Sept. I want to see who they go against. I have to check.
Lehman.
No.
Who they go to? Maynard New Tech, right? Is it Maynard?
Maynard New Tech. I want to really see how their defense holds up in that game. Shoemaker, they play Nuevo Leon.
That's that traveling team. They're good.
They're physical. They don't care who they line up against. Last year, they took them to 4 overtimes. Now, in my opinion, I think Shoemaker has too many weapons. So I'm really looking to see if they can really dominate that game or they were be kind of more competitive like it was last year. And then Ellison versus Killeen, I'm just looking to see whose defense is going to improve and get more stops.
For me, at Chaparral, I'm really looking forward to seeing that defense, man. I really think their defense can be special, and I really want to see how they look against Maynard New Tech. For Shoemaker, it's kind of like what he said. I can't wait. No. For Shoemaker, for me, it's about the defense. I know, like, their defense was really good last week, but I think there was some hiccups they had, and I think if they can, I just want to see them improve, and I believe they will. And for this crosstown rivalry game, man, what I'm looking forward to is seeing the atmosphere, really, like the crowds and the band and the cheering, and obviously the game. But I just can't wait to see the atmosphere because I already know it's just going to be electric. It should be electric, like David said. These games, that's what we miss here in Killeen. These crosstown rivalries should be. The atmosphere should be electric. Like, it should not be a boring, dead game. You feel me? It should be something. It should be something energetic. Like, people want to see this.
And I will be down on the sideline recording, and I will be posting on my YouTube full game highlights of the Killeen Ellison game. So if you miss it, it'll be on YouTube.
I will also be there shooting film.
And don't forget, we'll be broadcasting live from Leo Buckley Stadium on My 95.1. All right, well, that's a wrap for today's episode of My 95.1 Sports Zone, the podcast for students by students. Thanks for joining us as we covered the highlights, hot takes, and stories that made KISD sports unforgettable. Be sure to tune in next time for more action from the field, the court, and beyond. Until then, this is My 95.1 Sports Zone, where KISD athletes always have the spotlight.